Okay, so we had yesterday that a son gets galus on behalf of the father, through the father, meaning the son kills the father, he gets galus, and we asked, we'll start from Vermini 8b, Chesed Beis, about 15 lines up from the bottom. Vermini Make Nefesh, Prat LeMake Aviv. It says Make Nefesh only when you would kill somebody b'mezid and get the death penalty, do you get galus, exile, if you do a b'shogeg. In the case of a father hitting a father, just the mere giving him a wound gets you a death penalty. So maybe for that you shouldn't get galus, and yet we say that you do. Amar of Kahana lo kashya, Harib Shimon Harabah. Now, for hurting the father, one gets chenek. For killing the father or anybody else, you get sayeh. So now, there's a machlokes. Which one is the more strict punishment? Is it chenek or is it sayeh? So now, according to that machlokes, it's going to depend if you get galus. So, the Reb Shimon Amar chenek kamer misayif chenek, which is the punishment you get for hitting a father, which is more strict than sayif, then the less strict punishment you get kapara, you get galus. The more strict one, galus, exile, is not going to help you. You need more. So, misayif shigas sayif nitna lekapara, shigas chenek lo nitna lekapara. But doing an act of chenek b'shogeg, it's too chamer. It's too chamer, and that will not get you kapara. So according to Reb Shimon, one now, and if one were to kill his father, be-mezid, so then killing a father really gets you two punishments. It gets you chenek, and it gets you saif because you hurt him, and you killed him. So you get the more strict punishment. The more strict punishment, according to Reb Shimon, is going to be chenek. Chenek is not nitin lekapara. Only saif is nitin lekapara, and therefore, according to him, the son will not get galus since he's being judged for the stricter punishment.
The galus isn't just a way to get away from the Goel Adam.
It's a kapara.
It's a kapara too.
Yeah. That's ready. I think a few times the Gemara mentioned it. Yeah, it's a kapara. We're on the Piansky, we spoke in Silver Spring a few years ago, he spoke about the Medrash says by Sukkah that we're being gola. It's a kapara. Yeah, it's also a kapara. But the Rabbanan, according to the rabbis, that they hold saif is more chamer from chenek. So now, horig aviv b'shogeg, if you kill a father b'shogeg, so then that is an act of shigas saif because you killed him, and killing is saif. Shigas saif, you do get a kapara. That's the classic case in the Torah. Classic case in the Torah is when you kill somebody, if you were to do it advertently, you would be killed. But if you do it inadvertently, you get galus. So according to the Rabbanan, who hold saif is more chamer than chenek, when you would kill your father, the shogeg, you get two punishments, one for causing a wound and one for taking his life. Since you get judged with a stricter punishment, which is saif is the case in the Torah that one gets exiled. So that is our mission that says that the son gets galus. And the Bryce that said that he doesn't get galus is going like the opinion of Reb Shimon. Rava says no. Rava Amar Prala Ose Chabura Ba'aviv B'Shogeg. Really, the case where the son does not get galus is a case where the son caused a wound to his father B'Shogeg, and the Bryce is telling you that's the case where you don't get galus. What would you have thought? Since wounding a father, amazing thing, I have meaning the Gemara, wounding a father, since you would do it, if you would do it advertently, you get killed for that. If you do it inadvertently, you would have thought you get galus. You'd be the only guy in exile who came in for a wound and not for a death penalty. Kamashmal on that, no. Kamashmal, the Torah tells us only Makkot nefesh. You have to actually take the person's life.
What is the punishment for being Makkah Aviv B'Shogeg?
Makkah Aviv B'Shogeg.
Because the Chabura didn't mean to. You just cut it as tomatoes.
Well, it's anything B'Shogeg that's not Chayv Chappos. Only karis.
So I don't know.
Tshuva.
Tshuva, I guess.
Tshuva.
That's from Mechila.
That's from Mechila, yeah. The whole Shaila can be mochel on this couple. Is a mitzvah keep it out of aim, a mitzvah between you and Hashem, or you and the person. Yeah. Hakol golin al yedei Yisrael. So okay, now the Mishnah has a hakol golin. Everyone gets gullus through killing a Jew, and a Jew gets gullus through killing them. So what's hakol? We'll see in a second. Except for Ger Toshav. Ger Toshav seems to be one step up from a regular non-Jew who keeps 7 mitzvahs. It sounds like he's actually accepted it and bezdin to keep 7 mitzvahs. Seems to be a higher level. That's what they saw. So
can they get Toshav by your comment?
Yeah, that's a good question. Pashtus, yeah, because he's not mitzvah, he's a guy. Yeah. So okay, so hakol golai Yisrael la'asri imai. The word hakol in the Mishnayos, the first bunch in Erech and have a bunch of coals. It's always asking to include something. Some care. What's hakol? Hakol is always coming to include. So la'asri imai, la'asri eved v'kuti. We're coming to include an eved. Pashas, we're including Eved Kenani, who now that he's your Eved, he has halachas like an Isha, and a Kuti. A Kuti refers to the group of the Kutians, and there's a machlokas, where the Kutim that converted, where they're actually Kute Geri Emesain or Geri Arayosain, because they were found later to be doing Avodah Zarah. That's the whole question. So now, Kaninu Lahad Tana Rabbanan, the Brisa taught the following: Eved v'Kuti. Eved v'Kuti, Gola v'Loka. In Eved and a Kuti, so you get Golus and Malchus al Yisrael. So they will get Malchus al Yisrael through killing, or we'll see in a second, doing something else to a Jew. The Yisrael, a Yisrael, Gola v'Loka al Kuti. The Eved. And a Yisrael will get Golus and Malchus if he does something to the Kuti or to the Eved. Now, Bishlama Eved v'Kuti Gola al Yisrael v'Loka Gola. Why? It makes sense that an Eved and a Kuti are Gola. They get Golus al Yidei Yisrael through killing a Jew, Viloka. So what's the case? Gola, diktale. Gola is for killing. That's fine. Viloka, dilatia. And Loka, they get Malchus for cursing. Cursing, whatever the Mishnah Sanhedrin said, you curse with the name of Hashem. You do that to a Jew, they both will get Malchus. It's hard for me to understand that we're talking about kutim that are geirei arayos, that we say weren't really fully converts, because where do we find that they're mitzvah for? I think mitzvah for Makal. Oh, they are mitzvah for Makal Hashem. No, sorry, but they don't get Malchus. Goyim don't get Malchus. You get killed. So it's simply understood to be that they're geirei emesain.
But the cursing isn't the cursing of Hashem.
You in the name of with the name of Hashem. No kiv shem b'shem. The Mishnah Sanhedrin says, b'nei Noach though, but they don't get Malchus for that. They get killed. They get killed. So simply, I would say we're talking about that the kutim are geri emesain and they're regular, and if they're geri emesain, then why are we adding them in? They're like a regular Jew. Elamai, they're geri rayosain. If they're geri rayosain, where do you find they get Malchus? I don't know. This is a confusing part for me. I'm not sure how to work it out. Ela Yisrael gola veloka al yidei kutim. A Yisrael, a Yisrael is Gola V'Loka al Yidei Kuti. A Yisrael gets Golus and Malchus by either killing or cursing a Kuti. So now, Bishlama Gola, the Kollel, makes sense if a Jew goes and kills Bishogeg inadvertently a Kuti, he gets Golus. Ela Loka Amai. Why does he get Malchus for cursing the Kuti? Dilatoye, because he cursed him? But it says, "V'nosi ba'amcha lo seor." It says you only can't curse somebody who's be'amcha. You have to be amcha, but osa ma'isa amcha. You have to be doing things that are osa ma'isa amcha. So now, since these kutim went off and did avodah zara, they're no longer the status of amcha, of your people, your nation, and therefore, why do you get malchus on them? Machlokas over here. Are we asking a kasha only on the kutim, or also on the eved? Is an Eved Kenani have a status of Eina Osa Maisa Amcha? Well, why? He's doing everything right. He's behaving properly. So the Ritva says, yeah, but he can't marry into the Jewish people. He's an Eved. So maybe that's not considered Maisa Amcha. Or you say, no, we're only asking the question on the Kuti. On the Eved, we had no problem. Yeah?
I was going to ask that too, because this Gemara is only talking about a Kuti.
Oh, yeah, so the Ritva says then, then you have to say that an Eved is also Eina Osa Mais Amcha. But we know in other halachos, Eina Osa Mais Amcha is like, it could be you have to do something to be not Mais Amcha, like they did Avodah Zarah. In Eved, you can't marry in. Does that make you Eina Osa Mais Amcha? Or you have to do a Maisa that takes you off? So yeah, that's the Ritva. Yeah. Okay. El Amar Rav Acha bar Yaakov Kegon. No. So the case is like this. Kegon shehayid bova huzam. Really, it wasn't a case where you cursed the kuti. Rather, he was made and became an eid zomim. Sorry, you were made on him and you became an eid zomim. So therefore, you will get malchus. Now the Gemara says, but that doesn't parallel the opposite case. The Kivasei Gabe Eved, he gets malchus for you because why? He was made on you and became an eid zomim. Sheheid bo b'huzam, but Eved bar edasu. An Eved can't be. He's excluded from testifying. So we retract and we have a new answer. Ella Amar Rav Acha, Breder of Ika, Halchamay Eskinan. What case are we talking about? Kigon shehiko haka she'ein ba sheva pruta. You must have hit him and caused him less than a pruta of damage. Why less than a pruta? Because if it was more than a pruta, you're going to get both malchus and paying. And for that, we say you pay. Rashi says from Ksubas that if it be more than that, you'd mishalim ve'eno loka. So it has to be less than a sheva pruta. All you have is a lav of pen yosef. You shouldn't add any more makos, and for that you will get malchus. If you give a haka, you give a hit, which is going to cause less than a penny's worth, whatever a pruta's worth of damage, you get malchus. And we have to add in that there's two opinions in Sanhedrin. Do you learn out haka from klala? If you learn it out from klala is a lav she'ein b'maisa. You don't get malchus. If you are learning it out from there, then you would not get malchus for this. If you don't learn it out from there, then the two psukim are separate. And even though you won't get malchus for cursing, but you will get malchus for hitting.
If your father less than a cover pusa, you're not pious.
If you cause a chabura, did you cause a chabura?
Yeah,
for sure. No, yeah, that's causing a chabura. I believe so. That's yeah. The Gemara says in the Hedron also that anybody who lifts his hand up is already called a Russia, even before he struck anybody. Just lifting the hand up is So when you raise your hand now, no kidding. So Alma Ger Toshav. Okay, now a Ger Toshav is the Gemara says he's excluded. He doesn't get galus al yedei a Jew, and a Jew doesn't get galus al yedei him. Says the Gemara, Alma Ger Toshav Obed Kochavim. Like we're excluding him from everything. Why? Why is he like a non-Jew? So, Ema Seifa, say the latter of the Mishnah says what? Ger Toshav Gol Aydei Ger Toshav. It says Ger Toshav does get Kalos Aydei Ger Toshav. So we see it is applicable to him, the parsha in the Torah called exile. Amar of Kahana. A ger toshav that kills a Jew is not going to get galus. A ger toshav that kills a ger toshav will get galus. So now, Ika, we're going to prove this by having two psukim that contradict each other and come to a conclusion. Ika derami kray ahadadi. We're going to literally throw two psukim at each other. Ksiv livnei Yisrael v'lager v'latoshav besocham tiyena sheish ha'arim. So to the Jewish people, and to the ger, and to the tosha that's from amongst you, you should have 6 cities of refuge. It sounds like they're included. Uksiv v'hayu lachem, only for you ha'arim lachem v'lo lagerim, to you and not to the converts. So which one is it? Amar Kana lo kasha, kan beger tosha shahara Yisrael, kan beger tosha hara ger tosha. Amazing thing. That pasuk that says that is shaykh to them, Ari Miklat, is talking about one case where they killed another ger tosha, and the other verse that's excluding them is when they killed a Jew. So that's where Kahana answers these psukim, and that fits with our Mishnah.
They're not qualified for the Emet in that case.
Correct.
The girl down can kill.
Correct. Now, what do they get? They get killed. Sounds like they would get killed. Well, let's see. Let's see. It might depend on the case.
I don't know if the court can kill them, but the
I guess if they had, yeah, exactly. Exactly. Veramini lefikach. Now let's bring up Brisa to contradict this. Lefikach ger v'odkachavim shargu neharagin. A ger really it's supposed to ger toshav. The obed kochavim or non-Jew shahargu that kill neharagin. So says the Gemara. Well, we're comparing these two types of people. Ger dumi obed kochavim. A ger is similar to obed kochavim. Ma obed kochavim lo shna de katel bar minei. Just like a non-Jew, lo shna de katel bar minei. The lo shna de katel the la bar minei. It doesn't matter who he kills. Kill someone who's like him, a non-Jew, or not like him, a Jew. Neherag, he gets killed. Av ger, so a ger should be the same thing. Lo shna de katel bar minei. Below shna katel la bar minei. Anybody he kills, he should have the same punishment. Neherag, he should be killed. 1 second.
we don't make a chilek.
Correct. Correct.
According to this,
There should be no chilek of killing a Jew versus killing a non-Jew. So, Amrachis the lokasha. Okay, so now 2 brises. One says a ger toshav only gets punished when he kills a ger toshav, and one says it shouldn't make a difference. He should get punished even when he kills a Jew. So what's the answer? Lokasha kan shahargu derech yerida. It depends if he killed somebody on the way down. Kan shahargu derech aliyah. Whether he killed somebody on the way up, on the way down. So then that's b'shogeg, and that's going to be only shayach to a other ger toshav. Derech aliyah is already karov lemezid, more closer to being an inadvertent act, and therefore anybody he kills, he would get killed. And now the Gemara just explains it for 2 lines. Derech yerida, di Yisrael gali, when you kill on the way down, which if a Jew would do it, a regular Jew, gali, he gets exile. So in ihunami sagile begolos. So to this ger, the Yisrael who does it on the way down, he gets exile. Ihunami sagile begolos. So and it's enough for him as an atonement to get exile. Derech aliyah, on the way up, the Yisrael potter. So then, who neherad? So now, if a ger would do it on the way down, so then it's enough for. It's not gonna be golos, right? He'll get golos. Derech aliyah, if he does, right? He gets.
Question mark. He's gonna be killed.
They put a question. It's not explaining. I thought it was explaining.
You're right.
It's explaining.
No.
It's just explaining. Derech Yisrael gali ihunami sagile begolos. He gets golos. Derech aliyah, the Yisrael potter, who nerag, and therefore he'll get killed. Meaning he'll be right. It's a question, or just explain.
It's a period. It's pretty.
It's a period. Okay, good.
Mark.
You wish it was a question mark, but it's not. Okay, so now, so that's that. So that's the difference. A ger toshav, when it comes to b'shogeg, if he kills another ger toshav, he'll get kolos. But derech aliyah, if he does on the way up, then the goel adam will be able to kill him.
So we said, I thought the upward motion was the shogeg.
Downward motion is shogeg.
Oh, downward motion. Like you're going down.
Right.
Think of an act you're controlling. You're going up here. Yeah.
I'm really, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Upward, yeah.
Oh, they do ask us a question.
What's the
it sounds like it's a question.
What's the logic?
Right.
So if we're putter, he should be 1 step up, which is something in between, less than putter.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good. It sounds like here it's asking as a question. Okay, good. Meaning, why would a Jew who goes up be putter and this guy gets killed? What should be the difference? Meaning, if they both should get galus for killing b'shogeg, then when they do derech aliyah, what should be the difference between a Jew and a ger toshav? Doesn't make sense.
Vulnerable to the ger toshav. Vulnerable to get the goel down.
Right. Okay. Good. Because it's funny. I was wondering what's the next line. Amarle Rava. Like what was wrong with what we just said? Okay, fine. Okay, good. So Amarle Rava, the lav kal v'chomer is meaning it sounds like before we had 2 psukim that told us the difference. Rabba's going to say, Valav, I thought it was that we don't need 2 psukim. It's a regular kal v'chomer. What's a kal v'chomer? Uma derech yerida. Just like derech yerida, the Yisrael gully, a Jew who goes on the way down and his axe slips and kills somebody, he gets exiled. So ihunami svagile begolos. Derech aliyah, the Yisrael potter, ihunera. So here, Rob, one second. You were pointing out.
Like next line.
Yeah, you're pointing at the next line.
Well, that's
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But you jumped ahead.
Yeah. Here it was a statement. Okay.
So when you said question mark, I was
It was the
thinking
next line. Yeah, it was the next line.
All right.
So says Rava, says Ma Derech Yerid Yisrael Goli Ihu Nami Sagin the Begolos Derech Aliyah Yisrael Potter and Ihu Nerag. How does that make any sense? Why for a Yisrael Derech Aliyah are you Potter but he gets killed? So on this statement that we just said, Rava takes issue with that, and because of that, Rava says the way you answer the 2 brises is the case is Elam Rava be Omer Mutter. When the Ger Toshav, he didn't know, he thought it was Mutter, thought it was that you were allowed to kill somebody. When he thought you were allowed to kill somebody, then you do not get exile. Where the other case was a regular case of killing b'shogeg, there he would get exile. Now, Amrle Abaye, Omer Mutter, Anasu. When you say Omer Mutter, you're an ones. You're an ones, not Machlokas Abaye and Rava. If you don't know that killing is not allowed, and you do it anyways, is that like an ones? You didn't know. I didn't know. According to Rava, Karov Lemezid, and the Golam can kill you. Why? You should have learned. Amazing thing. No excuse. I didn't know. Well, I didn't know. Google it. I don't know. What do you mean you didn't know? Go ask somebody before you kill somebody. Is it allowed? This is a Machlokas Rava and Abaye. Yeah, if you don't know something and you could have found it out, Haylo Lilmod, you should have found it out. So now, Amar Le Shani Omer Mutter Karav Lemezidhu. I say Omer Mutter is Karav Lemezidhu. That's Rava, and therefore, if a Ger Tosha would do it, he would not get Golas. The Goel Adam can go and kill him. Now this Rava and Abaye, the Ozla Taimayu, they go according to their reasoning in the following case. The Itmar, Kisavar Behema. You thought you saw an animal from a distance. You weren't sure. You didn't get your eye appointment early enough. The Nimsa Adam, and you ended up killing what you thought was an animal. Turns out it was actually a person, or it was a Kanani, or it was more of a non-Jew. But Nimsa Ger Tosha, but instead you killed a Ger Tosha. What's the halacha? Rava Omer Chayiv. Rava says you're Chayiv. Omer Mutter Karv Lemezidhu. Rav Chisda Omer Potter Omer Mutter Anasu. Now, what's the comparison between thinking an animal and ends up being a human being? So Rashi explains that there's a similarity. The same way you didn't know killing was not allowed, you should have found out. Because you didn't find out, you're Karav Lemezid. So too, before you shoot your arrow, if you're not sure if it's an animal or a person, you should have went and checked it out. What do you mean? Oh, I didn't know. I thought it was an ox. Turned out it was John. What does that mean? So Rava holds that that's called Karav Lemezid. Rav Chisda says they're both Karav Ones. They're both like an ones. You really thought it was an animal, right? I mean, you're not blind. You thought it was an animal. So that's called ones. So both Rava and Rav Chisda / Abaye would hold that it's Karav Ones, and Rava holds it's Karav Lemezid. So now we know,
Couldn't the Kanani and the Ger Tosha be one and the same too?
Ger Tosha would have different rules, I would assume.
But couldn't Kanani become a Ger Tosha?
Yeah, sure.
Then it would be.
An Eved Kanani, when he becomes an Eved Kanani,
he becomes a Ger Tosha.
he has the laws like a woman.
Right.
And then when he leaves, he goes through a Gerus process and becomes a Jew.
Then he's a Jew, but there's just the Ger Tosha would just be a resident alien. That's
Correct.
Just a no.
Yeah, he's still a non-Jew,
Okay.
but he is Mikabel in front of Bezdin to keep this evidence. Now, off to Bereshis. Yeah, Avimelech. Avimelech, we know, took Sarah, right? So now we're going to go through back with Avimelech. Eisvei Rabba. Rabba is the one that holds Karav Lemezid. He's asking a question on Rav Chisda that holds that saying I didn't know is like an ones. So ask Rabbi to Rav Chisda, Hincha meis al isha asher lekachta. Yeah, Hashem tells Avimelech, you're going to die for the woman that you took. So says Gemara, my lav b'dei adam, what kind of death are you going to do? I'm going to kill you. You're going to have death, meaning death down here. and you're going to get killed. So says, now he didn't know. He thought it was Avram's sister. Oh, what do you see? Omer Mutter, before you take someone's sister, why don't you go find out if it's really his sister or his wife? So isn't that already like Rava? Hashem's going to kill him? Says the Gemara, lo, bidei shemayim. He didn't mean he's going to kill him down here, like a regular rule of bidei Adam. Bidei shemayim, it means Hashem will take care of him in however he'll take care of him. So therefore, it's not a proof that anytime you don't know, it's carved lemezid, and you can get killed down here. Dekanami diksiv. We can bring a scriptural, proof. I don't know, not a proof, but an allusion to this. It says, "Mechato li." Hashem is speaking that you sinned to me. To me sounds like it's a bidei shemayim. You only sinned to me, but not necessarily towards Sarah. Only bidei shemayim. So on that we say, hold on. According to that reasoning, well, in that same by Yosef and Eishes Potiphar, so Hashem tells him, "V'chatasi lelokim."
He says he can't do it.
Yeah, sorry, he can't do it. Thank you. He said, "How can I sin against God?" V'chatasi lelokim. Oh, it's only a sin. Remember, his wife, Eishes Potiphar, is Eishes Potiphar, so she's married. And even by the non-Jews, there's something called Eishes Ish. They're still considered Eishes Ish. And Yosef can't take that woman as a wife. So he says, how can I sin against God? Oh, lelokim v'lo adam. Really? What do you mean? You're taking someone's wife? That's also going to be punishable down here. Ella, and here's a little bit of machlokas in the girsa, but Ella, dino masr la'adam. So what are you going to say about Yosef? No, that is a halacha which is applicable to man. Tosfos is bothered by because there's no witnesses there. So he changed the girsa to dino masr bidei shemayim. But our girsa is Ella dino masr la'adam. Hachanami dino masr adam. Simple understanding is just like over there. You understand that is something which is liable down here in the courts. He took someone else's wife, even though it says v'chatasi lelokim. So to here v'chatasi li is also could also be referring to punishable by down here. Even though there it's Yosef and here it's Hashem speaking.
The pasuk says the ain ish babayit. There's nobody in the house.
Yeah.
But the Medrash says that there was a woman in it. Asna.
Yeah, she saved the day.
Elokim
so make no flame Talmud. Remember?
Yes, that's very good.
I told you that. Yeah. So okay, so that was that. So you could have said Hashem is speaking, so he says only a sin to me. It's different than Yosef speaking. I don't know. Okay, so Asa Abaye, now Abaye, who says if you don't know, it's like an ones to Rava, which says it's like a mazid. He has the following back to Avimelech. Asa Abaye Rava. So Avimelech says, "Hagoy gam tzadik teharoi." Melech's like, "I'm a tzaddik. Why should I get killed?" Yes, and so now the Gemara thinks, and Hashem didn't respond to him. Sounds like Hashem agrees. Yeah, you are such a tzaddik. He says, "No, Hasam." So Hasam kidikam mahajle ilave. It's not that Hashem agreed to him that he's just a tzaddik. It's that he's gonna respond to him. He responded to him in the following way. Yeah. Now what's that? Let's see. Va'ata. So va'ata hashev eishes ha'ish ki navihu. It says, you should return this married woman. She's the wife of the man who's a navi. He's a prophet. But we're going to understand the word navi to mean a wise person. Meaning, ha'ata hashev eishes ki navihu. Eishes navihu. De tehader, de lav navi lo tehader. Only return the wife of a wise man, but you can keep the wife of a foolish man. That can't be. Ella, what it means is the following: Kida Amar Reb Shmuel Bar Nachmani, Amar Reb Shmuel Bar Nachmani, Amar Reb Yochanan, Hachik Amar. This is what he means. Be'ata now, Hashiv Eishes Ish, give back the wife of this man. Okay, so that's the first thing. Mikomak, no matter what, always return married women. Yeah, back to their husband. And this is what we need. That which you, Abimelech, said, "Whoa, I'm such a tzaddik, I should get killed." But the ka'amers hagoy gam tzaddik taharoi. So, hello who Omer li achosihi. He said she's his sister. She didn't say it's his wife. So he says in W, Avram is a wise man, and the same way you asked inappropriately We don't ask people about their marital status. We ask about, do you need food or drink? You're coming as a guest. What your married life is keep it to yourself. So you shouldn't have asked that. So just like you asked that, he responded to you according to your question. Navihu umimcha lamad, and he learned from you. Achsenaihu shebala ir al iskechil v'shtia sholin oso. Kolum sholin oso ishtechazu achoscha. You ask, is your wife your sister? Is that lady your sister? You don't do that. So Mikan, amazing line. Sheben Noach nerag, he's going to get killed. Shahayalo lilmod below lamad. He should have learned, but he didn't learn what. So Rashi says he should have learned derech eretz. Others argue. The Ritva argues Omer Mutter. It's like a mazid, but Rashi says he should have learned derech eretz because this non-Jew Avimelech didn't learn derech eretz. He's liable for death.
So he was a Kanani, right?
It's brought down in the Rambam. I don't just to look it up.
Avimelech.
Yeah, non-Jew.
But he wasn't an Eved Kanani.
Right.
He's like,
The Ritva asks, where do we find by the Shemitz of Noach that they're obligated to keep derech eretz? It's interesting, and therefore he says he learns the Gemara differently. But according to Rashi, he should have learned derech eretz. What you have to say for Rashi probably is that it's one of these super intuitive things that should have been realized. So much so you're chayiv misa for that. It's an amazing thing.
Avram made a seuda, a young Hikamelech, who taught, invites Avimelech to the system.
Yeah, but what do you think? So according to Rashi, a non-Jew gets killed because he doesn't have derech eretz, proper character trait. Amazing thing. Yeah. Says the Mishnah, Suma Eino Gola. What about a blind person? Yes or no? So, first opinion, no Golas, no exile. Why not? We'll see if the possible. Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Meir Omer Gola, he does get Golas. No different than anybody else. Hasona Eino Gola. A hater, someone who hates Eino Gola, does not get Golas.
Hated the dead.
You hated the dead man, right? Not someone who hates society or Elon Musk or whatever. Yeah. Hasona Eino Gola. Rabbi Yossi.
How was the average?
I got one honk, angry honk, and one big fist bump. In Portland was the angry honk. By the coast was the exciting fist bump. Yeah. Shows you which ones are Democrats, which ones are Republicans. Rabbi Yossi Omer, Hasone Neherag. One who hates the other person, Neherag Mipnei Shehu Ke Muad. Because this we saw earlier, he's like a muad. He's going to get killed down here because he's like someone who does it advertently. We'll see what the explanation is in a second, hopefully. Rabbi Shimon Omer Yesh. Now that depends. Yesh Sone Gola, Yesh Sone Sheinu Gola. Some people who hate the person that they're killing will get golas, and some won't. Let's see. Zehaklal Kol Shehu Yachol Omer Ledas Hara. Any person that kills that you could say he did it on purpose, he wanted to kill him, that's not called golas. That you won't get golas for. V'shaloladas, something that you could say on that person, you had no intention to kill him. For that person, you will get golas.
That's what Shimon speaking.
That is
That's the general rule of the Mishnah.
Yeah, sounds like that. I don't know if Daf Shimon. Good question.
Because
sure.
then it's a rebuke to Shimon, because that sounds that it's not a sonnet at all. Is that a claw? Is that
Right.
a sonnet or not?
Let's see. I don't know. According to Reb Shimon, it's even a sonnet. According to everyone else, it's not a sonnet. It could be it's general enough that you could fit it in. But even a sonnet, we'll see, could kill by accident dropping the bucket. He no intention. By accident drop. Versus, okay, let's see now. Tanarban, below Ra'os. So he kills one without seeing. Prat Lasuma. This guy he didn't see, but everyone else he could see. That's the Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Meir says, no, below Ra'os, without seeing is actually an inclusion. It's L'Rabos is a summa. We're including the summa. So it says the Gemara, my time, Rabbi Yehuda, you go and meet your friend in the forest. That sounds like anybody, any two people that meet up in a forest, one by accident kills somebody else, goes. Afilu summa, no differentiation, even a blind person. Comes the pasuk also blaros and miyate, and it comes to exclude a blind person. That's Rabbi Yehuda, very simple. Rabbi Meir, the more complicated, below Ra'os, he's going to have two miutim, two exclusions. And the rule by two exclusions is it's coming to include. What are the two exclusions? Below Ra'os, he went and he didn't see this guy, but other people he could see, meaning excluding a blind person. Below Ra'os, Lamait and bibli das lamait. Both of the verse of bli ra'os comes to exclude, and the verse in Devarim Yud Tes Dalid says bibli das. He kills someone without any knowledge. That's also a miyut, an exclusion. Have a miyut achar miyut. They're both coming to exclude a blind person, according to Rav Meir. Ein miyut achar miyut el rabba. So you have two exclusions, you're really coming to include, not exclude, and therefore a blind person is included. He's included in he's included.
What is the second thing exclude? I mean, so there's no exclusions at all?
Just a blind person. They both, two exclusions come in and exclude the same thing. Bibli Rose and Bibli Das are both coming to exclude a blind person, and two exclusions equal a.
So he is included.
He's included. According to Rav Meir. Rabbi Yehuda, what do you do? Bibli Das, what do you use? Bibli Das, you kill someone without any knowledge. Prat lemiskabin hudasa. Coming to exclude somebody who had kavana. This we had earlier. Said kavana is amazing, but who had more of an intent to kill somebody.
Shooting like an animal.
Right. Yeah, I forgot right now what the Gemara said on Zion and base, but yeah. Okay. Now Rabbi Yossi says one who hates somebody and kills him, he can get killed down here, not exile. We can kill him. It says you can't kill without warning. You have to warn the guy. V'halo asrube, you didn't warn him. We say Masnis and Rabbi Huda, Rabbi Yossi, bar Rabbi Huda. The Mishnah must be this. Also, we had earlier is the opinion of Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Huda. The Tanya Rabbi Huda, Omer Chaver. Chaver refers to Talmud Chacham, someone who knows the laws. Eino tzarich hasra. If he would kill somebody, he does not need to be warned first. Why? Lefishal nitna hasra el lahavchin bein shogeg lemezid. He who kills somebody, the whole warning is the person can't say, "Oh, I thought it was allowed." So a Talmud Chacham knows the halakha, so there's no need to warn him. So according to this, you have to say that the stone in our Mishnah who gets killed is talking about a Talmud Chacham, because if not, you would have to warn him to educate him about the rules that this act right now will get you a death penalty. So according to Rabbi Yehuda, our Mishnah is talking about a Talmud Chacham Soneh who goes to kill somebody, someone who knows the rules, he knows the laws, and therefore you don't need Hasra. It's interesting to note the other opinions that hold you need Hasra even for a Talmud Chacham. What's their logic? This sounds like very logical. Someone who knows the laws does not need to be warned. But yet, this is a unique opinion of Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yehuda, not the common view. Common view is you have to give Hasra to everybody. That was the Gemara's question. So it's interesting to note that. If I remember correctly, from a very long time ago, I think the Rambam brings both, and that's a steer. He brings that that hasra is given to differentiate, and a Talmud Chacham needs a hasra also. So that's a contradiction in the Rambam, I think. Okay, Rabbi Shimon Omer yesh sona gola v'yesh sona she'eno gola. Rabbi Shimon says depends. Some people who hate the guy will get exiled, and some not. So now, let's see if we can get through this. So Tanya, Keita Rabbi Shimon yesh sona gola v'yesh sona she'eno gola. What's the case? Okay, now two ways you could drop your bucket. So nifsak. So if it just, you're going down and the rope snaps, so then that's going to be gola, that you get exiled. Nishmat, if it slips out of your hands, ain't no gola. The rope, yeah, thank you. The rope, then you will not get exiled. So if somehow you're going down and it's
The scholar isn't good enough.
right, Karl amazing. No, Karl Laonis. I think no. Just totally falls out of your hand. No intention whatsoever. Nifsak is
In the case of an enemy, it's expected of being intentional.
sorry, correct. If it's going down and happened to snap and it fell down, so that's going to be galus. If you're holding it, what do you mean it slipped out of your hand? What do you mean it slipped out of your hand? No, it doesn't slip out of your hands. Hold tight. There's a guy under you. That we say that we could say that yes, he did it bidas, and therefore the golem can kill him, and there's no galus. Fine. So that's the case. So if the son, the one who hates, it happens to the rope snap, even someone who hates, he will get galus because the guy did it bibli das. You can't say he did it on purpose. He totally didn't. It was going down and it happened to snap. Nishman, if it slipped out of his hands, then we say, oh, you're a sone and you did it pedas, and therefore there's no galus for you. Okay, the Hatanya, Rabbi Shimon Omer La'olam, another brisa coming to contradict our Mishnah's opinion of Rabbi Shimon. La'olam, no, Eino Gola, a sone or anybody will not get galus until Achi Yishami Mechatzelo Miyado, until the rope falls out of your hands. The only time you get galus is until it falls out of your hand. Now, we just said if it falls out of your hands, then you don't get galus. And we said that if it slips on the way down, if it snaps, if it rips and snaps, then you do get galus. This says you only get galus if it slips out of your hand. So that's a kasha two ways. Kasha nifsak and nifsak. It doesn't say anything about nifsak if it just snaps. It doesn't say that you get galus for that. Our brisa did. Kasha nishmat and nishmat. Here it says if it falls out of your hands, then you will get galus. Our Mishnah said that if it falls out of your hands, you don't get galus. So it's a kasha two ways.
They translate this not as the rope falls out of your hands, but
the bucket?
Trowel. Yeah,
It's a trowel.
I don't know. I guess it's the bucket. Yeah, it's the thing that's holding the cement, whatever.
Huma agila.
That's the roller.
It's a kli umnos, some kind of vessel, yeah. Ubelaz, it's called the troilo.
Trowel.
The trowel. Okay, some kind of vessel that you use for cement. Yeah. Okay, good. So now that's a kasha. Another kasha nishmat. Now says the Gemara lo. So we say nip. So now Rashi changes the gear. So Rashi says nishma. I'm just going to read from Rashi. Nishmat and nishmat lo kasha. If it slips out of your hands, it's not a kasha. Why? Haba ohev haba sone. If you have a good relationship with the guy and it falls out of your hands, so then that was unintentional, and that you'll get galus. If you hate the guy and it slips out of your hands, then you will get galus. That's one case. That's how you answer that kasha. So nifsak on nifsak lo kasha, but the case where it just snapped and it fell down lo kasha. Ha Rebbe v'ha Rabbana. We had earlier the opinion of Rebbe and the Rabbanan that when does the full vessel have to slip from your hands, or even if part of it slips, you're still going to be chayiv. So earlier we said that the Rabbanan said that even if part of it slips out of your hands, you'll get galus. So too part of the robe slips out of your hands, then you will also get galus. But according to Rebbe, that the whole thing has to fall out of your hands in order to get galus. Here, the whole thing did not fall out of your hands, and therefore you will not get galus. Yeah, maybe we'll start from here tomorrow. 6:45.